I feel like in our society and sometimes in our industry, we see a lot of the highlights. We see a lot of the wins. We see a lot of the what's going right behind this, in front of the world, and we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. And there's many facets of why a business is really, really, really successful. And when I look back over the last, 4+ years of starting my business officially and really running it as a business, having team members, filing your taxes, doing big girl stuff, right? And really scaling it to multiple seven figures, there's things that had to have been done, being able to release a book, starting a podcast, doing in-person events, getting into media, like really creating a brand. But there's highs and lows that come with it. And I feel like some people experience the lows, but they don't know how to ride out the lows. And guess what? They stay in the lows. And I'll be the first to tell you, when personal things are happening in your life, it affects your business. It's unrealistic to think that things don't affect your business, because they do when you're affected. Because as I've always said, if you've been listening to me for a while, you are the blueprint for your life and business. So whatever's going on emotionally inside of you is showing up in how you show up in your business and how your business performs. And when I say we've got highs and lows, I've seen many people who are the top people in the industry, years ago, are nowhere to be found right now. They're or if they are online, they've got such a dull pulse to them, like nobody even notices who they are. They either the same messaging or their energy is flat. And I've heard a few people say that they're burnt out, and I call bullshit, because, it's not a matter of being burnt out. It's a matter of you doing the emotional work to ride out those lows. Because when we are going through entrepreneurship, yes, it's amazing. You can make as much money as you want. And as I've talked about in the previous episode, making $100,000 in a day, it's just insane, because it would take somebody with a very good job to make that over 52 weeks. And I can do that in a day. And I can make, $60,000 in an hour, sometimes it depends on what's coming through. And that's incredible, because that's what's available for us, in entrepreneurship. However, there's a lot that has to go behind it. And I don't know if any of you have been, heard this, but entrepreneurship is like the real glow up, grow up, self-development, like, cause you'll find out what you're made of in this industry, and staying in integrity, being, somebody who's authentic and not trying to scam people. There's like so many things that are going on. And then there's people trying to prove themselves or seeking validation. So they're doing things that are out of alignment. And, I just saw a post today of a woman said, well, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm coming back to I'm going to restart my coaching business, and Facebook is flat. And there's all these like blames of Facebook's, this is wrong. No one told her not to start her business. No one told her to stop. I don't even know who this lady is, but she said she couldn't handle the drama or something. I mean, this is where I see someone who's actually not running a business. She just has a hobby. She's not serious about it, because in order to be highly successful in anything you do, you have to become successful in yourself. This is why I teach emotional mastery. I teach you how to become the woman who is empowered enough to go through the highs and the lows. And so when women come into my world, and I've been a mentor for 5 years now, more than that, but like of high profile, highly successful women. And I've run many, many high level masterminds and containers. And there is an art to doing this. There is a skill set. You cannot just throw out a $30,000 offer and think, you know what you're doing, right? You've got to understand people. You got to understand your avatar. You have to understand what this person is desiring. This is why when people listen to my podcast, or they go read my book, they're like, she's speaking right to me, because I make it my job daily to understand who I'm serving, because she was me, but just a couple steps behind. So I know how to guide, because I'm leading myself. And until you learn to lead yourself and do the inner work, you are literally going to fade. It's just going to fall apart, because you're not going to be able to complete the task. You're going to figure out what you're really made of when those low times come. And so when people are winning, that's amazing, but you've probably done some work to have those winning streaks show up, because they're not always there. There's going to be times where you're going to go through things that are going to challenge you. And I know personally for me, there was some toxic relationships that I was working through that I had to personally go through to break a pattern within myself when it came to men. And so, that's when I kind of took a myself do the work, but I still showed up for my clients. I just wasn't getting new clients to come in. And then there was a time where I was, redesigning my mastermind because I knew the type of women that I wanted to serve were at a much higher caliber than the women that I was serving at that moment. Also, I realized that there was women that were in this container that should have been in different containers. They all shouldn't have been in the same one. So I had to sit and I stayed with that instead of rushing out, trying to just make money and trying to, make it happen. I allowed myself to lean back and see, what do I really want next? Who am I going to become as a woman and a mentor so that I can lead other women to their next level self? Because I knew I could do the things, right? I was very good at what I did. It was me figuring out who I wanted to work with. In order for you to figure out who you want to work with, you yourself have to do the self-development. You yourself have to lead yourself. You yourself have to grow into that next version of yourself, right? And it's crazy because I'll hear women say, well, I want to have, 6-figure and 7-figure clients to serve. And those are my ideal market. And I'm like, well, what did you do to deserve that? Like, did you do that already in your business? Like, why would you want to be serving them? Oh, because they have money? What is it about them that you want to serve? What is it about them that you want to work with? Because they're easy to invest? What is it? You have to understand the people you work with. Now, I'm going off on a little tangent here because it's frustrating because I see women who think they have businesses and they really don't. They really don't. You don't have a business. You have a little hobby that you kind of get up in the morning, think about doing, and then maybe you put something together, you make a post, and then you're like done for the day, and then you go maybe do something else. I always see that women who talk about being burnout, they're very lazy. They're lazy with their self-development. They're lazy with their physical. They're lazy with how they show up online. They're lazy. They're lazy. Success requires you to show up, which means, yes, maybe you might not physically show up and post, but you show up for yourself on a daily basis. Figure out why those lows are happening because they're there to show you, hey, a high is coming, but you need to figure out why you're in this low right now. What are you going to learn from this? What is it teaching you right now? How are you going to survive these lows? Because I'm telling you, if you don't have money in the bank in your business when those lows hit, then you might as well go get a job. So being able to ride out the lows requires you to really understand that they come. And I have a friend who she really had a very difficult time in the low. She had such a boom bang, lots of millions coming in, and then the low hit not too long after that. And I'll tell you something. One of the things that she started facing was like very deep thoughts, and they're thoughts of not, feeling good enough. The success wasn't there. Like, how could I have had such an amazing win and now look where I am now? But what I think that is missing is this internal work that I teach. It's the resilience. It's the understanding of who you are. It's mastering those emotions that are coming up, because when you're in the low, everything comes to the surface. Every single memory that you've had that's been unresolved, every single emotion that you haven't processed comes to the surface, and it's here for you to face, because that's what those lows bring. They bring you to a place of really reassessing who you are. And what a lot of people do is they like to try to bypass it. Either they bypass it by ignoring it and they just, say burnout. I'm not saying burnout is not a real thing, but I'm telling you there's a solution to burnout, and burnout doesn't have to happen if you understand these cycles that happen in business, right? And in your life. And so the moral of the story for this episode today was is that there are going to be challenges that come to you. And those challenges are actually such a pinnacle part of your business's development, because it'll tell you, go here next, stop doing this, go here next, or you need to pivot, you need to reassess, you need to figure something out. It's forcing you like a mirror to look within inside of yourself. Because if the business is not making money, it's because you're not aligned with how the business is making money, or you're not aligned in that business, or you're not aligned with the types of activities that you need to be doing. You're not getting up, doing the work, posting. You don't have a team. You're just wishing for a client to pop into your inbox. You're just hoping. I see a lot of people just posting nonsense all day long on Facebook, and I'm like, do you really think I think you have a business because you're just putting triggering posts out there? And in fact, I don't look at you as having a business. I saw one woman, and I was talking to somebody on my team about this, but every single week she had a new offer. Every single week. And and this is for another episode, but every single week, one week she was a professional salesperson to teach you sales. Next week she's a manifesting person. Next week she's an events person. Next week she was going to teach you how to do wealth consciousness, which I've never heard anybody else teach but me. And then the next week it was I forget, but there was 10 different things. As a person looking in, I'm like, this person hasn't figured her shit out. Her low is sitting right in front of her, and she looks like she's drowning right now because she's not stopping to do the inner work to figure out what it is that she really wants to do and share with the world. Now, does she have something magnificent to share? I'm sure she does, because everybody does. But when you're in this phase of trying to keep afloat and you're doggy paddling and you feel like you're drowning, it's telling you something. Go sit with it. Figure out what's going on, but then go heal it. Go work on it. Why is this happening? Why are you having these dark thoughts? Why are you in this state? Why do you feel burnt out? Why don't you love your business anymore? What is happening? And for those of you that are in the highs, you know that these lows come, but you just manage them a lot better. And when women come to work with me, they learn how to manage the lows. The ones that stop doing the work will always hit those lows over and over again like speed bumps. And they'll be like, what am I doing wrong? Well, you're not doing the work. What's the work? Well, the work is what I teach. And so you got to do it. And so the work is becoming your most powerful, authentic self, where your emotions and your mind aren't controlling you, where they're not telling you things that you don't want to believe. They're telling you things that are not true, but they're just there because they've been habits that you've picked up or that you've known for your whole life. You get into a state of understanding what you really desire. When you start working on your inner self, you let that shield down, you let your emotions lead. You can start feeling into what feels good instead of what you think you should be doing. And this is the difference between someone who's highly successful and someone who's not. And this is why I talk about the masculine and the feminine energy. When people are in the lows, what they want to do is they want to fight like hell, which I do believe that you still have to do work, but they're doing it from such a place of desperation that nothing seems to work. So what I want you to do is, if you are in a low right now, it's okay. Being able to ride a low out and come out on the other side into a high is what's going to determine the success of your business. Now, if you're in a high right now, listen, the lows come, but if those don't stay very long, they're little dips as opposed to craters inside of your business. And to believe that the lows don't exist is naive, because entrepreneurship is up and down, up and down, up and down, but it could be up and down, but still going up, right? You see highly successful people, billionaires that have big dips, stocks drop, things don't work out, but they still keep going. And that's the thing, consistency and keeping going and keep showing up and seeing what you're made of and what your next move looks like, but staying in integrity when you do it, where you're not taking shortcuts, where you're not doing things that are out of, inauthentic because you're just trying to get to the top fast to make up time. A lot of people are doing that. I'm going to tell you that stuff that's going to catch up to them, because you can only fake it until you make it for so long and pretend to be somebody or not. The people will feel it. Your energy speaks volumes of who you've become. And if you haven't done this inner work, it doesn't matter if someone else has it or not. They're going to feel it in you. They're going to feel how inauthentic. So, the lady I was talking about who has a different offer every week, she barely has likes on her posts. No one's engaging them because they're just like, well, what is she talking about this week? I'm sure if people could only see themselves from the viewpoint of someone else, they would show up a little differently. And that's why you need to do that on a daily basis. You need to mirror to yourself and be the observer of who you are. And if you can't do that, you hire a mentor like me to help show you where your blind spots are, to show you how you're not showing up in the most powerful, authentic version of yourself. So when those lows come, you can ride them out and you can get to the higher highs that are there and waiting for you. So this is coming to you from deep in my heart. You guys know that I care about you and I love you. I just want you guys to be highly successful in what you're doing and really understand that this is available for you. And entrepreneurship is not for the weak, but it is for the strong and the successful. This is why only a few % of the people get to the top and stay there and are successful and keep growing. The others fall back and they lose out. I was in a mastermind like 4 years ago, and I am the only one still standing or that's made millions. The 20-something other that were in there, I don't know where they are. So you get to be that person still standing, or you fall back and you have to go get a job or you do something else. But to me, that's giving up, right? So I get fired up because I know it's possible for everybody. You just have to take action. You cannot let lazy be a dial on where you are. There's a time and place to relax, but there's also a time and place because you have to be still. But there's a time and a place to really show up for your business. And when I say show up and not be lazy, do the work. You can't be lazy to the inner work. It's hard sometimes, but it literally will change your life and your business. And I will preach this all day because I truly believe that's what made me, it helped me become successful and made me millions. So it's like you have a choice. You could sit there and keep doing what you're doing and get the same result and stay in the dip, or you can figure out how to do something else and learn how to master yourself, master your emotions, master your money emotions, master who you are so that you can be so empowered that every move you make is going to get you to that next level. And every move you make is going to bring you to that place that you know is possible for you to get to because you see the vision. You know it's there. It's just a matter of how am I going to get from here to there? And honestly, you're the reason right here. So do whatever it takes to get yourself into a state so that you can go to that next level. All right. If you enjoyed this episode, I know it might have been like, ouch, 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 ouch. It's okay. If it did that to you, it's okay. It's okay. It's showing you places where you need to go and maybe dig inside and say, okay, why did I feel this way? Why is she triggering me? Why is this making this? Or maybe you're like, yeah, damn right. I'm working now. I'm doing this. But if you liked it and you want to leave share it with somebody, leave a review. It would mean the world to me. And come join our Quantum Woman group. All right. Thank you so much and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye for now.